This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. A hot, muggy night in the Gateway City, and tonight it is game number 3. Big crowd, over 43,000 expected. It's the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals. And along with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes with us as well. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. Luke Weaver will go tonight for St. Louis. He's had a couple of starts against the Padres, and those have gone very well for him.
Yeah, he's had some really good starts against the Padres. And we all know if he hits his spots, keeps the ball down, and moves it around, he can be very good and very tough on the Padre hitters.
One of those starts a year ago, that was in late August, and then earlier this season in May. Meanwhile, a lefty going for the Padres, Eric Lauer, and the Cardinals. Boy, they got after him in a big way with 4 home runs. He only lasted 2 1/3 in that start, and that was back on May 11th against Luke Weaver. Lauer, Weaver, Padres, and Cardinals. After tonight, the schedule gets a bit tougher for St. Louis. The guys over in the studio will talk about that. We've got the Padres and Cardinals game number 3 coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. You guessed it, Star Wars night here at Busch Stadium. Marcell Ozuna hitting some lasers, if you will, here recently. A .390 average in the month of June. 4 home runs, and he's driven in 12. He's in the lineup tonight against the San Diego Padres. He homered against their starter Eric Lauer last time we saw him. Ozuna and the Cardinals in the final meeting against the Friars. Cardinals, Padres, Game 3, and it's coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Here at Busch Stadium. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well on a hot, steamy night here in the Midwest. We're waiting for Harrison Bader to pop out of that dugout. He's in the starting lineup tonight, and he will be in right field, and he'll actually bat leadoff tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals. No Matt Carpenter against a lefty, at least initially.
You know, I was watching Harrison Bader in batting practice today, and it surprises me with the amount of power that he has. I was shocked. He's really getting, you know, they said he's getting more comfortable being out here every day. It's tough not to play so much in and out of the lineup, but I think he's going to be a star in years to come.
Jimmy, he put one on the street during BP. Rarely, if ever, do you see that. Luke Weaver gets the call tonight. And for Weaver, this will be start number 14. His record sits at 3-5. He defeated the Padres earlier this season. He's been going roughly about 5 innings in every start, and the Cardinals would love to see him go a little bit deeper. And this is our Hyundai pitch arsenal.
You can see basically fastball, slider, changeup kind of guy. He's super successful when he stays around the zone, works up and down. He struggles when he can't command the fastball and when he has to throw the ball over the plate in big counts that hitters are expecting the fastball, and he can get hurt there.
There's a look at Andy Green, the manager of the San Diego Padres. His club 32-37, 6.5 games out in the National League West. Travis Jankowski at the top, good speed with 10 steals, followed by Corey Spangenberg and then Eric Hosmer. Christian Villanueva, Freddie Galvis, Framil Reyes, Manuel Margot, Rafi Lopez, and Eric Lauer. So a lot of lefties in the lineup tonight for Luke Weaver to deal with, which can maybe neutralize that very good slider if it's working tonight against the right-handed batters.
It allows him to throw that changeup a little bit more. Most righties don't throw a lot of changeups to right-handed hitters, so it gives you a different game plan, but plenty of pitches to work with.
And the first pitch to Jankowski is a ball upstairs, and we are underway. Hitting .295, 1 home run, 1 hit in this series. He's 1 for 8. Good fastball there, 1 ball, 1 strike. We've talked about it before, but Luke Weaver can pitch up in the zone. He's got a little extra giddy up on that fastball.
Yeah, he looks like he would be a sinker ball pitcher, but he's more of a, he kind of zooms the ball in there. He kind of gets low and pushes it a little bit, and I think that's why it's sneaky, because it's short arm sneak and he can get to 96. And I think the first time around watching, you'll see him throw the ball by a few guys.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Jankowski. That's in the dirt, 3-1. He talked about when he got to the big leagues, Luke Weaver, that he was allergic to walks. He said, I hate walks. I don't like walking anybody. I'd rather challenge them, have them put it in play, but yet the walks have been a little bit of a concern here as of late. The 3-1 pitch and a ground ball on the ground to Jose Martinez. Steps on the bag for the out. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Marcelo Ozuna, Tommy Pham, and Harrison Bader in the outfield. It'll be Jerko, Munoz, Wong, and Martinez on the infield. And the 8-time Gold Glover behind the plate, Yadier Molina. So Mike Matheny again not going with Dexter Fowler. It's well documented his struggles, in particular hitting from the right side of the plate. Bader has hit very well against left-handed pitching, so it makes sense. And he also has a home run against Eric Lauer earlier this year. This is Corey Spangenberg at the plate. He's at second base tonight. He was at third in game 2. And he drives one into right center for a base hit. Let's take a look at Jim Edmonds' Toyota keys to the game.
Pretty simple. He's been pretty successful against San Diego, so just go out there and do what you do what you're comfortable with against this ball club. And then basically just trying to win the series. That's your goal all year long, is to win 2 out of 3. If you keep doing that all year long, you'll be in a really good spot at the end of the year.
Cardinals have an off day tomorrow, and then the schedule features 23 straight against teams that are 500 or better. And Chicago will be in town on Friday. They were in Milwaukee today. Back-to-back games in which they were shut out. So the Cubs game and a half back of Milwaukee, and the Cardinals are now 3.5 games out. The Brewers 41-27, and now they own the best record in the National League. That's hit out of play by Hosmer. He drops down to the 3rd spot in the lineup here for game 3 and had a home run last night. 2 different strategies last night. Cardinals went with their very reliable starter in Miles Mikolas, 6th in all of baseball in terms of going deep into a game. And the Padres on the other side had a bullpen start. Mikolas went 6. 2 relievers went 6 and did not give up a run against St. Louis. We'll take a look and see if Spangenberg was picked off. Luke Weaver has gotten off to good starts. First innings, his ERA 1.38. Hosmer with that 1 hit in this series, a home run. He's 1 for 8. And the 1-1 pitch into center. Pham with the catch. Spangenberg back to the bag at first. brings in Christian Villanueva. He's kind of a mystery for the Padres. He's a power hitter. He's got 15 home runs, but really has struggled at times against right-handed pitching. And will third base be his everyday spot? He's got 10 errors on the year, but they'd love to keep him in the lineup. And the first pitch is a ball.
Well, I think when you get to the big leagues as a young player and you start to hit home runs, tendency is to maybe start to swing and try to hit home runs. And as soon as you try to lift the ball and hit the ball at the ballpark, that's when everything kind of goes away and you start to struggle, because you just can't have a really big swing here.
Molina's throw is offline. The tag applied by Wong, and it's a stolen base, number 5 for Spangenberg.
See other teams see you take big swings, you're going to start to exploit the holes that you have. And said home runs come on accident. You just swing the bat hard, hit the ball in the barrel, stay balanced. You start trying everything like that, it just goes south in a hurry.
Two balls and no strikes. That was the first stolen base with Luke Weaver on the mound this year. He does a pretty good job controlling the running game, varying up his times to the plate. And obviously it helps where you look at the stats. Not many teams attempting steals against Yadier Molina. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Villanueva. And it's a walk. So runners at first and second. I don't know if you feel this way, Jimmy, but the more I watch him, the more I appreciate him and realize he's a very good player. Freddie Galvis has played the most innings in the National League. 1 error, switch hitter, good player.
His third night here, but the first 2 nights, every ball that was hit in the shortstop vicinity, he was around. Just missed a couple of balls that I didn't think he was going to get to. Had some good swings and just really nice around the infield.
So 2 outs and 2 on, and Galvis drives it out to deep left center, and that is over the head of Tommy Pham and off the base of the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes another. The relay to the plate is not in time, and it's 2-0 San Diego. Galvis with a 2-out double to drive in 2.
Right on command for you, Danny.
Yep.
Gets a pitch down and away and hammers it off the wall. Like you said, I mean, he's a good player. Like he does everything he's supposed to do night in and night out. I think when you get a shortstop like that, though, you really got to concentrate on his defense. I mean, what you see out there on defense is pretty incredible.
And now 2 outs, and here's Reyes. And a strike. He batted cleanup in game 1.
I saw Reyes hit a couple balls in batting practice about 3/4 of the way up the left center field stands today. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, they say he's got really good power and exceptional power to right field. And it's 0-2.
But once again, those big swings, trying to produce home runs, really not the way to go.
And he struck him out, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. First strikeout of the night for Luke Weaver. Bader in the leadoff spot tonight for the Cardinals when we come back. after a half inning of play. Harrison Bader is the Cardinal leadoff man tonight. Bader broke up the no-hitter in the 6th inning last night with an infield hit. And you know that speed will play at the top of any lineup.
He's exciting to watch. He's so young, and he'll get a chance, and it'll be fun to watch, see what he can do.
Bader, Pham, and Martinez, followed by Ozuna, Molina, and Jerko. Then Munoz, Wong, and Weaver. And the first pitch taken high for a ball. Eric Lauer just turned 23 earlier this month. 10th career start, second against the Cardinals. He's coming off a loss against Miami. Hyundai pitch arsenal, fastball, cutter, curve, and changeup. We saw in the series in San Diego, we were talking about it, looking at tape before the game, Jimmy. He just does not have a put-away pitch right now.
Yeah, and he made a lot of mistakes the first time around, and you know, it's hard to say because you don't want to kill somebody that's out there trying, but when you throw the ball 90, 91 at this day and age with everyone throwing 99, 97, you can't make those mistakes. You gotta make your pitches.
And it's 3-2. Well, tonight we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. Since June 1st, $1.35 billion. That's been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge. Head to homerunchallenge.org. And that's one of the things I love when we get together and have the chance to work, you know, looking at the tape at 3 o'clock and going over the film that we see. And, you know, we noticed at times he could have a decent breaking ball, but is that a put away pitch? And we noticed probably not, but you never know. From start to start, things can change. 3-2 pitch, and a base hit for Bader.
So I'm talking about right here, Danny. You got a fastball at 91, up in the zone, and a fastball count.
To 7 pitch at bat by Harrison Bader, and now Tommy Pham. One thing to keep in mind, Lauer has a tremendous pickoff move. He has picked off 4 in 4 consecutive games. Now 5. So Bader picked off, and that's how you help your cause. Boy, what a move, huh?
That's, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what was going on there, but that was quick. Maybe he's setting him up. You let him hit it and then pick him off.
There you go.
Just keep it in the yard.
And it's 1-2. Best lefty pickoff that you saw?
I think Andy Pettit had a good one.
That's the one I was going to go with. Andy Pettit.
But I thought I had really good success against Andy Pettit. I never really got close to getting picked off by him. I thought, you know, I could read it. I didn't run a lot. And then one day, La Russa told me that I was 1 for like 14 off of him. And I said, no wonder I don't get picked off. He was one of those guys. He was one of those guys that I hit the ball against, hit the ball hard, and just never got on base. And I was shocked to hear that I was, whatever it was at the time, was 1 for 11 or 1 for 15. But sometimes you just don't know your stats because you feel comfortable.
Mark Burley had a very good move. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Little flare into shallow right, and that drops in for a base hit. Our colleague Rick Horton had a terrific pickoff move. So back-to-back singles here for the Cardinals. Jose Martinez saw his 9-game hitting streak come to a close last night, but here's a look at Arcia drive to success. His last 8 games, 5 home runs, and he's driven in 11. Ricky Horton had 29 career pickoffs. That's an awful lot.
Well, like I said, if you're going to give up that many hits, you got to pick them off.
Rick, Jimmy said that, not me. Another foul ball and out of play. By the way, you were 5 for 36 against Andy Pettit.
It's not very good. Thanks for rubbing that in.
Well, I had to stick up for Ricky.
That's okay. Ricky probably sent that over really quick. I got you. I'll see you on the flight.
Here's the 0-1. And the key for a lefty, what do you think it is for a good pickoff?
Not breaking the plane and just look the same all the time. But that's the thing. A lot of lefties, when they go to the plate, they'll have to gear up a little bit more so the knee will kind of cross over. And holding that balance. It's weird. It's like a sinker. Some guys have it and some guys don't.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Jose Martinez will not be with the team this weekend against Chicago. A baby is due, so he'll miss the weekend series with the Cubs.
I would love to see the guys that are high in the left-handed pickoff stats, that if any of them threw really hard. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
more of a control because the balance is so good. Tommy Pham probably picked off right there, by the way. The balance is so good with the control pitchers that they can hang there for a split second and throw over. A lot of guys that throw hard just want to get the ball and throw it. So I'm willing to bet that that has something to do with it.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Martinez with 1 out and a runner at first. And Jose hits a fly ball into right center. Margot over to make the catch. And Pham back to the bag at first. The Padres defensively, their alignment with Jankowski, Margot, and Reyes in the outfield. Around the horn presented by Dobbs. Villanueva, Galvis, Spangenberg, Hosmer along the infield. And Rafi Lopez is behind the plate. Here's Marcell Ozuna. He's driven in 12 in his last 10 games. And that was close.
You know you have a pretty good move when you've picked over 3 times and pretty much 2 of them got a guy out, and the 3rd one he's almost out. If he'd have thrown the other one on the bag to Tommy Pham, he would have been out then too. I think you can see the difference in the move right there. Crosses over a little bit, leg gets a little bit higher, but when you're on first, it takes a second for your brain to relay that to your legs, and you kind of don't want to believe it because you're taught to get a good jump.
He's got Pham leaning back towards the bag.
He's got me leaning towards the bag right now.
This is one heck of a move. You make a really good point, though. The hard throwers, max effort, you don't see it as much. Those in control, a little different.
Keep an eye on his head too. Sometimes that'll tip it where, like, if a guy comes up and he's looking at you, he's going home, and if he's looking at home, he goes to you. Sometimes you get caught up by looking at the body, and when sometimes just the head is as easy to tell.
And the 1-1 hit down the right field line, out of play. And you talked about the plane in which that front leg cannot cross. If it does, going towards the plate, that's a balk. Essentially a 45-degree angle, if you will, roughly.
Most of the time, it's the other leg. Your knee can't cross over your other leg, your left leg, your back leg at an angle. And then sometimes the knee can at an angle as long as the foot is. But the foot, I don't know if it's the foot or the knee, but I think it's the angle of it.
Short.
Sorry.
And Pham retired at second base with the force play. Lauer the pickoff, and it's 2-0. Top of the second, it's 2-0. Let's check in with Jim.
Dan, pickoff aside, Harrison Bader has played exceptionally well across the board. His defense has been really impressive. You look at Bader's defensive metrics, and they're among the best in all of baseball. He told me he takes pride in that. He said, even if I'm 0 for 4, I'm still trying to do something to help my team win. I can do that with my defense. He said even as a kid, he wanted to be an outfielder. Dan, he told me, I really was a Jim Edmonds fan, just because he wasn't the fastest guy, but his routes were very crisp and direct to the ball. So Bader is a ball game disciple. How about that?
I like it. Kind of a backhanded compliment, though, Jimmy.
Slap in the face, so to speak.
Not great speed, but great jumps.
Really slow, but he did a good job.
I know you're a big fan of Harrison Bader.
I am. I think he's going to be fun to watch. I really like the speed and the effort.
There's a base hit for Margot. Start playoff here in the second inning.
I think that, he's got a good swing. He's got a good base. I think it's just time to get established in the league, learn a lot of things, learn the pitchers, learn your own players, the stadiums. There's a lot to learn. So it's wait and see. I think it's going to be he's a fun guy to watch.
Here's Rafi Lopez hitting 173, the 8th place hitter for the Padres. 2-0 on an RBI double with 2 outs back in the first from Freddie Galvis. Number one in pickoffs by a lefty, Andy Pettit, then Mark Burley, Kenny Rogers, Mark Langston. The big unit was on there.
That surprises me, but I remember he had a quick move. All the other guys, they don't surprise me one bit.
Greg Swindell, David Wells, Brian Anderson, Jim DeShays, Charlie Leibrandt, Steve Avery, and Clayton Kershaw, the top 12 all time by lefties.
Brian Anderson, he's the one I came up with in the big leagues in Anaheim. He had a really good move. When he was young, he picked a lot of guys off because his move was identical home and to first. He was really compact. He was a control guy. Langston was pretty much the same. I remember playing first base when Langston was pitching, and you really had to pay attention.
Here's an 0-1 pitch now to Lopez from Weaver. He's been falling behind early in counts, and that means trouble. Our friend Matty Moe, Matt Morris. Good to see him back in St. Louis and at the ballpark tonight. There he is with the hat on. Matt Morris, boy, was he good in his prime.
His son Brandon to the right. Not little Brandon anymore.
And a ground ball, could be two, a flip. Wow, what a play. 4-6-3. A flip out of the glove from Colton Wong.
Pretty nice play right here. I mean, you got to have confidence to make that play, and he's got a lot of confidence on defense.
He's got a little flair, a little theatrical way.
I think he might have even caught the shortstop off guard right there.
It's been behind in the count now. 7 of the 9 hitters. He's got the pitcher here in Lauer. Matty Moe, I'm assuming, was a great teammate of yours.
He was. I made a special trip today down there to go see him. I found out he was here when I was on my way to the stadium, and down there he brought a bunch of kids in from Montana and kind of showing them around. And what a special teammate, player. He was fun to watch, fun to be around.
1-2.
Now he spends a lot of time coaching, volunteering at the school in his area. Up there in Montana, he loves it. He loves fishing, a little bit of skiing. What a life, huh?
Pretty good. Second strikeout for Luke Weaver. He would get a lot of strikeouts. Matt Morris. The Wong defense to help out behind Luke Weaver. A flip out of the glove and 2. shirt that's coming your way. Jim Edmonds has asked for at least 5 of those for friends and family. Ricky wants to wear one on the air, the all over print button up shirt. That's coming up June 29th, courtesy of Shane Company. That's when the Braves are in town. Cardinals.com/promotions. You were really fired up to get that print shirt.
The all over print shirt.
Here's Yadier Molina batting .264, a couple of hits in this series. And the first pitch is strike. Cardinals had 2 hits back to back, Bader and Pham, to start the game offensively. Bader was picked off, and eventually Pham left stranded. One ball and 1 strike. An interesting question that someone wanted me to ask you about Tony La Russa.
Little sneaky fastball.
So would you please ask Jimmy? I've been waiting for you to ask him this. Why did Tony get the best out of his players? He said this is not a shot at Mike Matheny or any other manager in the game, but he always seemed to get the best out of the stars and the best out of the fringe players. There's a lot of truth to that.
Well, I think the thing that he did the best was to prepare his players for everything. And so I think you take good players that maybe weren't so prepared and you prepare them, and so they get a little bit better, they buy into the team, and then it kind of all comes together. You know, that's how it worked for me. I think I was more prepared each day. I kind of learned the game a little bit more, learned how to react to situations, and you just get better. And you prepare you for life, you prepare you for the questions off the field, how to handle certain things, how to handle success. And so I think when you come from other teams and you learn a little bit more, it just helps you get that much better.
And a curveball taken high, 3-2 here on Yadier Molina. Star Wars packs him in. It is a big crowd on a Wednesday night. The 3-2 pitch, and Molina pops it up to the right side. Hosmer over in foul territory with room. Mentioned in the open, we're expecting over 43,000 at the ballpark here tonight. We've got huge crowds expected over the weekend with Chicago in town. It'll be another weekend series with the Cubs. First time in over 100 years, a season ago, that St. Louis did not host a Cubs Cardinals weekend series last year. Here's Jed Jerko and a strike. Lauer in his last start, 5 innings, and he went with 111 pitches, 7 walks in the 5 innings. And the 0-2 pitch, first strikeout of the night. Well, the Cardinals and Papa John's teaming up to bring fans a deal that can't be beat. Purchase select seats for just $7 to see the Cardinals in Indian Series interleague play June 25th through the 27th. And for details, visit cardinals.com/Papa John's. Here's Jairo Munoz with 2 outs. Already it's been a better start for Lauer than the last time we saw him. And Munoz hits one to center field. Last time out, 2 1/3, 4 home runs and a bunch of runs. Tonight, 2 scoreless innings. in FS1 with every match live and over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins tomorrow, only on Fox and FS1.
A little behind the scenes right there.
You bet. All starts tomorrow, the world's biggest event. Travis Jankowski. And strike one. Grounded out to first base. And he's 0 for 1 tonight. The Padres are in just a brutal stretch of games. 3 in Miami, so they had to go cross country. Now in the Midwest. Finish up the road trip with 4 in Atlanta. They go back home for 2 against Oakland. Then back on the road with San Francisco and Texas. This is a tough stretch. The teams on the coast, the travel is so much different. You went through it with the Angels, and it's much different than teams in the Central Division.
Even the East Coast teams don't have it as tough because there's most of the teams are from the Midwest to the East Coast. I'll tell you, it never a day off that you weren't really traveling, and you were returning home usually 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Can't land at any airport close to you if you're in Anaheim because all the airports are closed. You have to land out in Ontario or up in LA. It is a different schedule for sure.
The 2-2 pitch to Jankowski. Fouled back. Cardinals will have a rough travel night more than likely Sunday. Playing Sunday night baseball and then have to get her going the next day against the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, that's big league baseball. And a fly ball into center. Handled easily by Tommy Pham. Cardinals' longest road trip this year will be 9 games. He'll do that twice.
That's a long road trip when you're used to going out 6, 7 days and coming right back.
Here's Corey Spangenberg. And strike one.
It's pretty interesting because if you think about it, most of the people just look at it as, oh, you're just going on the road playing a game, you're staying in a nice hotel, but you get into a rhythm. It's just like night game, day game. So you get into a rhythm in spring training where all the day games are going.
Wong will handle that easily for out number 2.
And then just when you get used to getting up every day at 6 o'clock, you break spring training and you come and you start playing night games. And so you have to start learning how to sleep in, and you can start to go to bed later. And then as soon as that happens, you start throwing in some day games on the weekends. You start traveling. And so let's say you go out 6 days and you come back 6 days, and out 7 days and come back for 7 games. And all of a sudden, if you throw that 9-game road trip in there, it seems like an eternity because you're just used to this exact 3 games here, 3 games there, and turning around. And it really just, and that's why baseball is so tough. Not to mention you play 162 games in about 180 days. That mental grind and keeping your head on straight is where it'll help you, and that's where you have to rely on that part because the physical stuff is just exhausting on its own. So mentally you just got to stay focused and really, like, talk about being prepared. You have to prepare yourself for each trip and understand what you're going to go through and how your body's going to handle it.
Here's a 1-1 to Hosmer. I'm sure it's been a bit of an adjustment for him going from Kansas City and that travel to San Diego. And again, I mean, they're well paid, they're well compensated. It's part of the game, but still it is part of life too.
Well, and talk about being prepared. Like I said, your days off are spent on an airplane. Your day off is being at the ballpark at 10 o'clock in the morning, check into the ballpark, you put all your stuff under the bus, and then you go to the airport, and you usually arrive at the next city. Half of the time you get there at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. So that's your day. That's your day, one day off that month sometimes.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Slicing down the left field line and out of play.
I think the biggest thing about being in this league is learning what your body takes to survive. When you need to put your feet up, when you need to get your rest, and when you keep going hard even if you're a little bit hurt.
Deep in the hole, Munoz to first and not in time. And a base hit for Hosmer, hustling down the first base line. Sniffing that base hit here.
Yeah, he thought he had an easy one. Did you see him getting out of the box? And Munoz made a nice play. It's another one. Been out there, has been doing a pretty good job. Just catch the ball and throw it over to first.
Up and into Villanueva. Mentioned the Cardinals will have the Cubbies in town on Friday night. Fun matchup there. Michael Wacha 8-1 against John Lester, who's 7-2. And the 1-0. Little check swing right into the glove of Martinez. Sports Midwest is brought to you by St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, Guardians of Childhood, and by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. Here's Colton Wong, followed by Weaver, and the top of the lineup. One pitch, one out. Brings in Weaver. The Cardinals trailing 2-0. Star Wars night here at the ballpark. You a Star Wars fan?
I used to be. Can't keep up with it anymore. I love it. I think it's cool. The kids love it. I don't know if it's maybe the Star Wars as much as it's just me getting old and having to deal with too many kids.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. But I'll tell you what, it brought us these 40,000 plus nice people out to the ballpark today, and that's pretty cool.
Joe Strom was the vice president of ticket sales, saying that this is probably their biggest theme night that they have of the year, and that the Star Wars franchise and Lucasfilms has been very accommodating
and very smart,
and just trying to expose their product and understanding that many people are watching on television, those here at the ballpark, because specific theme nights you'll have a pretty big charge to use the likeness of an individual or a movie or whatever the case may be, and that's not necessarily the case here, where some of the money is donated to charity. And a great way for fans to come together and enjoy a little time here at the ballpark. 1-2 the count.
And you get to see some interesting people along the way.
Oh boy.
I haven't seen a whole lot of dressing up yet.
Oh, I've seen plenty.
Other than the characters themselves that are here.
And a base hit for Luke Weaver. Well, the Cardinals, you'd hate to say that they rely on the home run, but the numbers do show that when they hit home runs, many times they're winning games. Certainly that's the case here in the month of June and essentially overall this year. Here's Harrison Bader, had a 7-pitch at bat back in the first inning. Singled to center and then was picked off. And the first pitch is strike. It was a 12th career single for Luke Weaver. As Bader pulls it foul, and Luke still looking for that first extra base hit. Now 0-2 on Bader. Weaver's shown he can handle the bat pretty well, a career .221 hitter now. Not too shabby. And the 0-2 pitch to Bader. Way out in front again and lined into the seats. Outfield is deep. They're straight away for Harrison Bader. Mark Saxon writes for The Athletic and covers the Cardinals. Had a tremendous article on Harrison Bader about when he got to Florida. They essentially told him what they wanted him to study, not necessarily the other way. He'd been pushed out of his spot. But the premise was he's always been battling in his life to get recognized, to be an elite player. Willie McGee noticed that right away in the minor leagues.
I feel him. Battling for respect every day. Story of my career.
One and two the count. And Weaver is back in. Seen it before where a runner takes maybe just a step or two off the bag and still gets picked off with this type of move. Cardinals against left-handed pitching this year, hitting .226. It's a slight improvement. Seems like the Cardinals have always been battling that the last few years, left-handed pitching. And the 1-2 popped up. Lopez will make the catch. And Bader retired. He's now 1 for 2. There's 2 outs, and it brings in the center fielder Tommy Pham. It was not an easy play there. It was popped up, and it wasn't one of those that was just sitting up there for a while to get under it, throw the mask. You got to find it too.
You had to go get it. You have experience with that. It's not like the ball goes up in the same place every time. You take off that mask, you're pretty much blind looking up in the air, right?
That's right. Nice play to keep that ball fair by Villanueva, and Pham retired. Lowry's through 3 innings. And we head to the 4th. San Diego with a 2-0 lead. Christian Villanueva making sure that ball did not go foul, and Pham retired. 2-0 Padres. Very special guest.
Yes, this is Haley Dawson. She's an 8-year-old from Nevada with a very special story. She was born with a rare defect. She's missing some fingers on her right hand, but that hasn't slowed her down at all. Thanks to a unique prosthetic, a 3D printer created prosthetic, she's able to do virtually anything. We saw that tonight as she threw out the first pitch. So it was a big night for Haley. Mom is here as well. Mom's name is Young. So tell us about the prosthetic. I know initially you were trying to find something for Haley that was affordable, and you turned to engineering students at UNLV.
Yeah, you know, I had seen the hand online, and so I emailed the engineering department to see if they could make one for her, because she was starting to ride her bike, and I wanted her to have something to hold both handles for safety reasons.
Now, you guys have been touring major league ballparks with Haley throwing out the first pitch. This is stop number 14, and she has a different hand for each ballpark. Tonight she has the Cardinal hand on. So how much fun did you have, Haley?
A lot of fun.
Show us how the hand works and what makes it easy for you to do things.
When I move my wrist down, it closes. When I move it up, it opens.
That's amazing. Now I see you have a souvenir. What is that, and who gave it to you?
It's a bat, and
Colton Wong, one of the Cardinal players, gave it to you?
yeah.
So, Mom, before we let you go, how has the unique 3D printer created hand helped her in life?
You know, initially it was a functional thing. It's become a confidence thing for her. So when you meet her, you see so much confidence in her, and it's because of this hand. It draws people towards her, and she's learned to adapt with it. And, you know, yeah, she could hold things with it, but I think the confidence was the most amazing thing.
And she's throwing first pitches out across major league ballparks. Haley Young, thank you for being here. And Haley, thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
How great is that, Dan? How great is that?
All right, Jimmy, good stuff. It is amazing. Saw her watched her throw that and saw her throw that first pitch. Truly is amazing. Great story. And a swing and a miss. So Weaver picks up the strikeout, and that's number 3 tonight. Galvis had the big hit so far in this game, a 2-out double.
See, in my opinion, right there, that's the younger player, even though he's not super young. Smoke a ball off the wall, then you like just short of a home run, so you come up there and you try to hit the next one harder. And you can see his swing was a little bit longer, and Luke was able to throw the ball right by him.
Here's Reyes and a ground ball. Jerko backing up a step or two, and the pick by Martinez, 2 away.
It's a nice pick by Martinez right there. Has been working on his defense every day early, and you can see things like that. It starts to pay off.
The Cardinals actually will get, I'd say maybe halfway or 3/4 of the way from first to second, and you'll see either one of those guys with a fungo and hitting rockets at Martinez to work on soft hands and picking the ball.
Well, that's the best way. Is you get a kind of a unique bounce, because it's not you're not going to ever get the same bounce twice, so you have to really react. And sometimes at first base you can run over there, you can stretch too early, you can take everything for granted, the ball's going to be on the money, and that's when you get yourself in trouble. So kind of that uniqueness of a different angle, different bounce every time, work on that every day, and it will challenge you to stay disciplined in your footwork and your balance, because you have to sit back and wait to see which way the ball is going to go. You just can't run over there, step on the bag, and start to stretch.
1 ball and 1 strike.
I think if you see a lot of mistakes made at first base as you watch this pitch right here, I think is a pretty good pitch, and pitcher and the catcher probably wanted that. But most of the mistakes made around the bag and actually turn into throwing errors, a lot of them are mistakes by the first baseman. They get over there and they set up too early, and they set up in the wrong direction. And I think sometimes the first baseman can get a little lazy with their footwork, and that will create throwing errors by the rest of the infield.
Here's a 2-2. Weaver has faced 1 over the minimum since the Freddie Galvis double. You struck out 3 on the night, and a 3-2 pitch. Base hit. Margot is 2 for 2. Omar Olivares wore 00 at one point for the Cardinals, and here's Rafael Lopez, who wears 0, rounded into a double play first time up. Two outs and a runner at first. The 8th place hitter Lopez. Margot is 6 stolen bases on the year. And a ground ball to Colton Wong. Bobbled just a bit, but stays with it and makes the play. Great interview by Jim Hayes, and it's Haley Dawson with our first pitch tonight. And Yadier Molina coming up here in the home half of the fourth. The GMC leaderboard, most RBI among first basemen in the National League. And look at that. Jose Martinez has jumped up 41. He has 42 on the year. One of those RBI, obviously not as a first baseman. He's behind Freeman, Rizzo. We'll see Anthony Rizzo here on Friday night. Freddie Freeman just keeps on going, doesn't he?
Did it again last night too. I think it's funny when they show those stats and the guys say this guy's got 45 RBIs when they throw up their 41 because he played a couple of games at the DH spot. But when you're predominantly a first baseman, your stats are your stats. You know, I always get a kick out of that.
And so Martinez leads it off here, fly to center, and the Cardinals trying to get at Lauer. Scored just 2 runs in the last 12 innings in this series. Baseball's such a funny game. May 11th, 2 1/3, 6 earned, 4 home runs allowed against the Cardinals, and here tonight through 3 innings, no runs up on the board for the Cardinals. That is baseball in a nutshell.
Yeah, you just never know when the offense is going to come, and that's why playing defense is so important, because you have every inch of control over your effort on the defense side of the ball, because you just don't know when you're going to get hits.
And the 1-2 is line foul and out of play. Busch Stadium still filling up this Wednesday night. The 1-2 pitch. Martinez hits it out to deep right. Down into the corner. Reyes with the catch. Cardinals with 3 hits in this game. The first 2 reached against Lauer. It was Bader with a single to center. Tommy Pham a bloop hit to right. And then Luke Weaver. And that has been it.
You notice too, when the offense kind of goes stale, there's no back-to-back base hits. Obviously there's no the hits, but you're not putting pressure on the defense. It's almost like fly ball here, ground ball there, get a base hit, then a strikeout. It's almost like the old joke rally killer, right? It's the bases loaded double play ball. Even if you drive in the run, you've just unloaded all of everyone, and just now the next guy's hitting with 2 outs and nobody on. I mean,
for sure.
And able to score runs, you got to keep running guys around the bases, and that's how you build momentum. And just really haven't gotten anything going more than 1 hit here and 1 hit there.
It's also about extra base hits. No extra base hits since the 8th inning of Monday night's game for the Cardinals, and that was the Jerko home run. So get a look at, that's a real good look, Eric Lauer with this tremendous pickoff move.
It was a really good look.
And Molina hits a fly ball out to left. Jankowski over to make the catch. With the Bader pickoff, Lauer has tied the franchise record for consecutive games with a pickoff at 5. Jim DeShays did that back in 1992. And the last pitcher to do this 5 consecutive games before Lauer was Travis Blakely. And that was with Oakland in 2012. That pitch in the dirt. This is Jed Jerko. And so take a look at the move. 5 consecutive games now with a pickoff.
See what he does right there. He does a little bit of a slow leg kick and goes to the plate. Pretty similar leg kick, but quicker. As soon as you start to see it, he's already throwing the ball over. See right there, his leg kick's a little higher. See that a couple of times, and it's the same motion up, but it's just quicker and over to you. So as soon as you hesitate, you're dead. That's why a lot of times the coaches will tell you as soon as he picks up the leg, if you're not running, to lean back a little bit and get your momentum in case you have to get back. If you're running, it's a totally different story.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Jed Jerko.
Just like that. You see how Ozuna kind of got that little jog step back. Because that way you're kind of reacting towards what's happening versus just standing there dead still. And then when you're focused in on something, you kind of get a little flat footed and then it's too late.
And it's hit out of play.
You know, it's unfortunate that we're seeing just Ozuna at first base with 2 outs and Jerko hitting, because probably not going to run here, giving Jed a chance to hit a home run or a ball in the gap. If you're the pitcher, you kind of know that's the situation, so you don't want to waste a throw over there if you don't need to. Hopefully get a look at one. Be interesting to see if it goes to 3-2. I think if you get to 3-2, you almost can't run until you know it's going to first, because you have to give Jed a chance to hit.
So the 2-2 pitch now to Jed Jerko. Hit out of play. Keeping the Cardinals off balance, isn't he, at the plate?
Just enough. It's changing speeds really well. I think his fastball, even though it's only 92, 91, a little sneaky at times because he's throwing a lot of changeups, a lot of BP fastballs, and a lot of slurves, a lot of curveballs that are nice and slow. Just when you start to get in that slower rhythm, he'll sneak a fastball in on you.
And the 2-2 again to Jerko. Line for a base hit into left field. And the Cardinals may have something going here the home half of the 4th. Runners at first and second, and Jairo Munoz. He fly to center. Two outs and 2 on. Home half of the 4th. 2-0 San Diego, and that could change right here. It floats in there for a ball at 75 miles per hour. Sometimes you can be under the hitter zone.
Under the hitting limit, or the speed limit of the
what you normally see.
Yeah. You know, it's something special too. You have to be able to figure out how to stay back.
Here's a 1-0. Then the fastball there at 87, 2 balls and no strikes.
It's a timing thing as a hitter. And most of the guys, your timing is the same. And then when you get a guy who kind of has that little slower breaking ball or slower changeup, it's really hard to stay back. You have to tell yourself, you have to stay back during this at bat, because you have to remind yourself over and over and over.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Munoz trying to break out of a 2 for 16 little mini slump that he's in right now. You think about the first pitch in the 70s, then he speeds it up and it might hit 88 to 90, and it's probably looking or feeling like 96 to 98. Big gap in left center. And the 2-1 pitch to Jairo Munoz. Back to Lauer. Steps and throws and makes the play. Cardinals have left 4 on. We head to the 5th, and it's 2-0. 2-0, the Padres with the lead, in a very nice round of applause for Mark McGwire just moments ago. And that's hit out of play. Oh, and 2. Well, certainly in our scouting report, we didn't want to rub Lauer the wrong way, but he has been very good tonight. And the strikeout, number 4 tonight. I mean, we were talking about in that scouting report, you might be able to get to him, but that has not been the case. And back to the top of the lineup, and Jankowski. And that pitch is strike. Here's the 0-1. And it's upstairs. Jankowski is grounded to first and also flied out to center. And the 1-1. Really nice round of applause moments ago for Mark McGwire as they put his highlights up as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the '98 season. He stepped out of the dugout, patted his heart, and nice gesture by the crowd and Mark. 1-2 pitch, a liner, and that's a catch by Munoz. And here it was. All right, well, we're coming back to break. So 2 outs, and it's Corey Spangenberg. Did you ever ask Mark about '98, what it was like?
Not really. He didn't like to talk about it too much. He was just kind of just enjoying the moment as he moved on. And I think at the end of that, 2000 and 2001, he started to struggle a little bit with his knee, and it really took a toll on him too.
And a 2-hit night for Spangenberg. He's 2 for 3. And it will extend the inning to Eric Hosmer.
Tell you what, though, at some point when I was here, somebody gave him a whole bunch of these books of every sports page from the St. Louis Dispatch and every home run that he hit, and they might have given him probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them, and where we lockered next to each other. So I was messing around and I opened them. I said, "Have you looked at these yet?" And he said, "No, I haven't." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what they are, but I'll tell you what they are if you promise to give me 2 of them." And so I took 2 of them.
He signed them for you, I guess?
No, I just kept it. It's still in the box. It's still wrapped. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's literally in cellophane in this huge box. It's a full-size one side of the paper. So you can actually open up this box, peel back the cellophane, and you can unfold the newspaper just like it was that day. That's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite things, and hopefully one day I don't know if I'm going to break it out or not, but be able to show the kids that maybe one day try to find a way to display it.
And a base hit into right field. Bader, they know about his arm. Look at that. That's good speed by Spangenberg, and he's held at second base knowing the arm of Bader. And the numbers, 1998 year for Mark McGwire. 147 driven in, along with the 70 home runs.
How many walks on top of that? With probably most of the time with guys in scoring position. He probably had 160, 170 RBIs.
He had 162 walks that year.
Wow.
They intentionally walked him 28 times.
I might have thought that would be more.
I would too.
What's that average out to? Walks per game.
Jimmy, you're all over usually all the numbers, so I'll leave it up to your imagination. Here's the 0-1 pitch.
That is so incredible.
Pretty good year. And it's 0-2. It seems like it's only a matter of time before Mark will become a manager too. Highly thought of, obviously, in baseball circles with what he's done as a coach. He started Big Mac land, and that has stayed here. And the 0-2 pitch to Christian Villanueva.
I think one thing that we don't see, and I can comment on this because I was on the other side, watching Barry Bonds go through what he went through, it's much easier to do on the left side of the plate. Much easier. Barry Bonds in situations like that where just get the automatic base on balls with the intentional walk. And Mark, being a right-handed hitter, they challenge him a little bit or pitch around him or try to see if, you know, make it a little tougher on him. He didn't get the easy pass, and it's tougher to be a right-handed hitter than it is a left-handed hitter. So, I mean, not to take anything away what Barry did, but that just gives you so much respect for what kind of hitter he was, for how big he was with the home runs, RBIs, and hitting almost 300. But I just think about being a right-handed hitter, how tough that is.
And traveling with Mark McGwire, you'd have to go through the back of the hotels and different elevators away from the public. The spotlight and the scrutiny was on him time and again. 2-2 popped up, backing up Munoz, and he'll make the catch. Fans honoring Big Mac Mark McGwire. And that day, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home an adult bucket hat courtesy of Coca-Cola. Kids 15 and younger entering with a ticket receive a kids bucket hat courtesy of Powerade. Cardinals.com/promotions. The Cardinals with 4 hits, all have been singles. They've stranded 4. And Wong puts it on the ground. Galvis makes the play. the hits for the Cardinals tonight off the bat of Luke Weaver. Mentioned that Lauer gave up 4 home runs against the Cardinals in the previous start. The last Padre to allow 4 home runs in a game against the Cardinals was Jake Peavy 10 years ago. And Peavy trying to make a comeback. 1 out and nobody on. 2-0 our score. Big Mac 10th all time in OPS, 982 on base plus slugging. Babe Ruth #1 as Weaver breaks his bat, soft liner into left and a sliding catch. How about Mike Trout? He's already 9th all time on that list.
He just hit 4 home runs in 2 days up in Seattle.
It's incredible. And a strike to Bader. And the 0-1 taken low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bader, a 7-pitch at bat. First time up. Single to center, was picked off and also popped out. Just keeping these hitters off balance. That pitch at 74 miles per hour.
I mean, you see how simple it is to mix up pitches and move the ball around. But at the big leagues, gives the hitters a tough time. You gotta have confidence and make your pitch.
And that pitch at 88 and a strikeout of Bader, the second of the night for Eric Lauer.
Special assistant to the Padres GM the previous 2 seasons. We had Skip on the pregame show. He told me he never anticipated getting into coaching so quickly, but a big league job so close to his home was an opportunity too good for him to pass up. He said having Big Mac around was a selling point for him. Skip told me this: I follow Big Mac everywhere. He was here, I get traded to LA, he's in LA, he's like my binky. Dan, Skip meant having McGuire around is comforting. His binky.
I just looked over at my partner.
Not
ball
what
game
I was expecting. Great job, Jim.
And he is one of our all-time favorites. Skip Schumacher. Good to have him back in town. Here's Freddie Galvis, a 2-out RBI double that scored 2 back in the first.
Even if he needs a binky at 38 years old.
I still get a Christmas card every year from Skip. I bet you do too.
Yep.
I was with Skip when he first came through the Cardinals system and had not been in the major leagues yet, and he was part of our Cardinals caravan. And thinking back then to now, and time goes on, but pretty amazing career that he put together. 10+ years in the major leagues, now big league coach. He's got some rings to go along with it too. Well done. It is the interesting part of the caravan. You hear about these young players, and some you just know they're the highly thought of and rated prospects, and others that come along are guys that might get to the big leagues. Good chance, but it's always in question. And in this case, Skip Schumacher, a guy like Daniel Descalso was on his first caravan. You heard of them. They weren't in the big leagues, and now you watch them, and they're outstanding big league players and coaches. 2-2 hit out of play. Sometimes you get ready to go on the next day of the caravan, you can't find them. Yeah, that happens too, Jimmy. We track them down, though.
Does that happen to Skip?
No, it didn't happen to Skip.
A few others I can imagine.
Yeah, a few others. Three and 2 the count on Freddie Galvis. 1 for 2 tonight. Galvis here, then Reyes and Margot. We're in the 6th inning. And a soft liner caught by Colton Wong. That was the first 3-ball count since the 2nd inning for Luke Weaver. So he is settled in. What's on tap? The upcoming opponents. Pretty tough schedule. The Cubs, the Phillies, the Brewers, Cleveland back home here. Then Atlanta and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Look at all that yellow writing at the bottom of each one.
And Reyes is 0 for 2. Looks at a ball. Pitch count at 82 for Luke Weaver. Cardinals have Pham, Martinez, Ozuna coming up. Two and 1. And that's ripped down the left field line, but foul.
What's the ball boy down here? Pretty good control of his body. Been down there a while. If you're that confident, you're not going to get hit.
Inside, and it's a full count. Out to left center. Pham over. Can't come up with it. And Reyes trots into second base, standing up, and let's hope Tommy Pham is okay. Not an easy play at all.
No, I think that one of the tougher plays is the backhand low. When you reach down like that, if you don't hit it perfectly in your glove, and you can see it didn't, it's going to shoot out no matter what, because you can't get your hand around it on the backhand side. Looked like it fooled him a little bit. Either that or it got in the lights. Sometimes when you run in the gap as a center fielder, you'll get a little bit of the lights come into play. Just looked like a really tough play all the way around. But I bet you if you ask him, he said he should have caught it.
So 1 out and a runner in second. So runner at second. That's a first career double by Reyes. Quick visit by Mike Maddox. Manuel Margot and a strike. Margot is 2 for 2. Base hit to center, another to left, and now one to right. 3 for 3. This will bring in a run, and it makes it 3-0 San Diego. Margot racing to third. Relay there is not in time. So a double and now a triple.
And he was flying around the bases. Not the slide he was looking for, I'm sure.
I think it may have tricked Jerko just a bit.
I think he was a little off balance, thinking he was going to slide right into him. You see, he had to go back for the ball. That's why you put the tag right there in front of the bag. Hopefully he'll slide right into it.
That'll be it for Luke Weaver.
you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Here's Austin Gomber to face Lopez. You could see a situation where with 111 pitches last time out for Lauer, he may not hit for himself. And a chance for the Padres to really go for it. They've got a good bullpen. And as I say that, Renfroe steps out of the dugout. There's a broken bat single into left, and it's 4-0. That'll close the book on Luke Weaver. 5 1/3 and 4 runs scored. So the Cardinals going to have to come back against one of the better bullpens. Or will they? They're going to let Lauer now hit for himself with that run scoring.
I mean, why would you take him out?
Especially now with a 4-run lead and he's only at 74 pitches.
You throw in a shutout with 5 hits through 5 innings, and you have the chance of throwing a bullpen in there and changing the whole complexion of the game. I'm leaving him in there as long as I possibly can. I've seen that happen way too many times. Guy throwing a shutout, throw somebody else in there just to get the game, finish the game, and next thing you know, the other team starts scoring runs. Tell you what, if he's up there to bunt and then they're going to bring somebody else in, probably won't do that again either. Not the best form for bunting.
And he pulls back and takes a ball. So Jed Jerko way in at third base, anticipating a bunt. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's the catcher at first base, Lopez. Lauer with a couple of sacrifices this year. That's where he needed to bunt it. It's a beauty. And Gomber to Martinez. 3rd sacrifice. Not sure he could have placed that much better than he did.
No kidding.
And it puts Lopez in scoring position, back to the top of the lineup, and Jankowski. Well, this is not the series nor the stretch that we anticipated with the Cardinals. 3 and against Miami, dropped 2. 2 or 3 over the weekend, and now on the verge potentially of dropping 2 or 3 against the Padres. But we did mention they're playing good baseball. Jankowski chops it towards second. Wong comes up with it and makes the play. best golfers in the world. The 118th U.S. Open. Live coverage begins Thursday from Shinnecock Hills on Fox and FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 4-0, bottom of the 6th. Rolls in. Cardinals have been out hit 10-5 in this game. It'll be Pham, Martinez, and Ozuna against Lauer. It's kept the Cardinals off balance all night long. Floats in for strike. 1-1. And Pham hits it sharply to Hosmer. He's at the bag. Jose Martinez fly to center, fly to right, 0 for 2. The Cardinals tonight with 5 hits. All have been singles. The last extra base hit was in the 8th inning for St. Louis of Game 1 of this series. Jose 0 for his last 7. Average at .319. Little flare into shallow right and a base hit. Marcell Ozuna, the BJC Healthcare difference maker. This season, the first 41 games, 234. The last 20, heating it up, 409. Power up, everything up offensively.
I mean, he said he was trying to figure it out and he was going to get hot. But trying not to get it back all at once. Just kind of take one day at a time, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
Red Cecil is throwing in the Cardinals' pen, and again another look at the move by Lauer. Picked off a man earlier. Could have been 2 others. Very close. And ball 1. You think about where you're at in the game. 6th inning. They have an outstanding closer. And you're in the middle of the lineup against a lefty that you should be able to get to. Martinez about a 1-step lead. Martinez with a 3-step lead at first base. That means small steps. The 2-0 pitch. In the air. Center field. Margot back at the wall. Gone! Just over the wall in center. And the Cardinals get on the board with a blast from Ozuna.
You're right, Danny. He's getting hot. He was missing these pitches earlier in the season. It's quietly just hitting the ball harder and harder each day and just putting hits up on the board.
Now they get activity in their bullpen going. Here's Yadier Molina. Molina, soft liner, caught by Galvis. There's a lefty, Castillo. It's an RBI in 5 straight games for Marcell Ozuna, new season high by any Cardinal this year. .420 feet off the bat of Ozuna. He's got 5 homers in his last 10 games and some life here at the ballpark. He's now up to 8 on the year. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and it's fouled back. Reaching for it, Galvis deep in the hole, strong throw, but not in time. And the tying run will come to the plate. That may be it for Lauer here. Castillo, the lefty, coming on. The tying run coming to the plate. Brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. New pitcher Castillo is into the ball game. Jose Castillo, and this is our Chevy call to the pen. Jairo Munoz represents the tying run at the plate. Marcell Ozuna. Home run has cut the lead to 4-2. Castillo is in the minor leagues this year between San Antonio and El Paso. That's AA and AAA for the Padres. And a ball that gets away on a swing and a miss, and Jerko advancing to second base.
I think you talked about the first night how guys love Andy Green, right? I think he did a great job right there with letting the game happen. Left his player in the game while everything was going well. The game can go and things can happen fast. He gives up 2 runs and you get him out. But you take that chance because he's having a good outing. You just don't take him out just because the game says he only needs to throw 5 innings. You got to have a feel for the game sometimes and not just go on what everyone says.
And also a move with Munoz here and then Wong that makes sense as well with a lefty. Gyro only hitting .235 against left-handed pitching, and then you have left-handed batter Colton Wong at the on-deck circle. If he's out of the zone here, it might not be the worst thing to face Wong because your right-handed batter options are Fowler and Pena. But he chased another pitch, that one in the dirt, and it's 1-2, and now we'll go right after him.
It's just right there, inexperience and trying to do a little too much in the situation.
And the 1-2, strikeout of Munoz, so Castillo gets the final out here in the bottom of the 6th. Marcell Ozuna just enough over the wall in center as Margot ran out of room. That sweet swing. It's now a 4-2 game. All right, Scotty, thank you. It's now a 4-2 Padres lead. And the second inning of work for Austin Gomber. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Looks like Gomber may have found a home here in the Cardinals' pen. Ryan Sheriff done for the year. Tyler Lyons on the DL. A fastball up in the zone, and it's 1-2. Plaza Tire Service, Fox Tracks. Spangenberg is 2 for 3. And about an inch away from being 2 for 4.
Ball's not that far outside. Just never know with the umpires, you know. Just one night it's a strike, and the next night it's not even close.
That one right down the middle.
It's a
The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Cardinals are represented on this year's squad by voting at cardinals.com/vote. See the game on Fox. Here's Hosmer, who is 2 for 3. '26 multi-hit game, third best in baseball for Hosmer. Infield hit and also the base hit to right field. And a liner that's caught by Jed Jerko. Christian Villanueva walked and scored back in the first, grounded to first, and also popped out with 2 runners on.
I like Gomber with the breaking ball that's down on the way to lefties, but then the fastball up. So you're changing the eyesight. Good velocity up, but the breaking ball, like we talked about, just dropping down to the bottom of the zone.
Well, Mike Myers has had a lot of work here recently, but this makes sense. Villanueva has struggled against right-handed pitching, but Myers will get the call, and we'll see if Andy Green wants to counter it all. So Myers to face is presented by the St. Louis Cardinals and Major League Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Villanueva has walked and scored. The numbers on Mike Myers. Heavy workload here recently. So Chevy called to the pen. And the 1-1. Good slider. Coming up in the bottom of the 7th, Cardinals will have Wong, Myers spot, and then Bader. Villanueva hitting 186 against right-handed pitching. He's got 15 home runs, with 4 of those only from this side.
Good fastball right there by Myers. We'll set up that breaking ball away. Go right back in there.
The 2-2 pitch. He does. And a strikeout, also up a bit. 97 on the gun. And it's time to stretch. The Cardinals trail 4-2. Star Wars night. Time to stretch here at the ballpark. Anyway, Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri if the Cardinals hit a home run. Caesar goes to left field. Matt Caesar off their bench. And Travis Jankowski shifts to right. And Reyes out of the game. Dexter Fowler on deck. It's Cardinals baseball tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. And the 0-2 pitch. Two and two. And Wong waves at it and strikes out. So Castillo has come in and struck out two, the only two he's faced.
It's a good breaking ball right there. Sharp. Threw him a couple pitches up, and then you can see as he got closer to the strikeout, the sharper the pitches were, and then that's the little tight breaking ball at the end. Looked like Colton actually saw it. Just sometimes you see it and you can't hold up.
And now Dexter Fowler, 1 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year. This has been the lesser side for Dexter. And he hits it out of play. Did not go. 1-2. Boy, tough pitch to take there. 2-2.
It's that breaking ball again. It's a good tight breaking ball. When you're a hitter, the breaking balls you see is the one that pops out of the hand. The good ones are the one that don't jump up, kind of come at you and then dive off the table closer to the plate.
There it is again, a little
That's
bit
what
low.
That is right there.
The 3-2 pitch to Dexter Fowler. Got him.
Another variation right there of a breaking ball. A little bit more of a slurvish, but still tight. It stays right inside that zone.
So the first two have been retired. That's 3 in a row by Castillo. All with the strikeout. Bader hits it down the left field line, but foul. Harrison, a base hit to center field back in the first inning, popped out to the catcher in foul territory and struck out. Castillo now 8 strikeouts in 3 2/3 since being called up.
Not hard to figure out why. 95 pitches in, good sharp breaking ball.
And it's 1-2. Another good breaking ball. Cardinals have been out hit 10-8 and they trail 4-2. Seems though like a lot more than that. And the 1-2. Bader swing and a miss. He strikes out, and Castillo has faced 4. He strikes out the side in this inning. So Brebbia in relief of Austin Gomber in our Chevy call to the pen. This will be appearance number 18 on the year for the right-hander of St. Louis, who does have a couple of saves. John's done a pretty nice job. . Just about out of gas right there. The Hyundai pitch arsenal on Brebbia. Pretty simple fastball slider, but not easy to hit.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Pretty simple, good fastball, good tight slider. Pitch up in the zone. Aggressive, come right at you.
And that's fouled back. Freddie Galvis with one of the biggest hits in this game. A 2-out double that scored 2 back in the first inning. That's fouled back. 0-2. Off day tomorrow for the club, and then the Cubs will be here. Michael Walker and John Lester will have it for you at 6:30 Friday night. Carlos Martinez and Kyle Hendricks in game 2. Sunday night, Jack Flaherty, Jose Quintana. Hit a mile high into right field. Bader racing in. 1 away. Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app where you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch, or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of your St. Louis Cardinals. Matt Caesar. A couple of different stints with the Cubs. Andy Green will use him a lot. Double switches, defensive. Plus player coming off their bench. Out to center and Pham. 2 away. Margot is 3 for 3. 2 singles and a triple. It's a big inning coming up for the Cardinals. They've got the heart of the lineup and guys that can do some damage. Pham, Martinez, and Ozuna.
Kind of a similar slider as the lefty for the Padres. Nice and tight. Brebbia's nothing fancy, right? Comes in, throws strikes. 2 good pitches. Doesn't mess around. It's exactly what you want coming out of the bullpen.
And the 2-2. Struck him out. Tommy Pham, Jose Martinez, and Marcell Ozuna coming up. It's 4-2 midway through 8. Stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Cardinals wherever you go. This is Yates. We saw him in game 2. It's our Chevy called to the bullpen for the San Diego Padres. Kirby Yates, 27 games and an ERA that's just above 1. He's been very, very good in getting to Brad Hand, who's been the closer. The Rally Caps are out. 6 of the 8 relievers in the Padres pen have more strikeouts than innings pitched.
Good arms.
Yeah,
good stuff.
You think about them struggling, but that bullpen is not.
Yep, and there's only 2 runs down here, so anything can happen.
Here's Tommy Pham. He has a base hit back in the first inning. And a strike.
Got to get that first guy on. That first base hit. Nothing fancy. Base hit to right. With a couple of good at-bats, you never know.
That's out of play. Cardinals out hit tonight 10-8. Trailing 4-2. Pham, an 8-game hitting streak now, and has hit over 300 during those 8 games. Now they are into it. That's intense too. Let's go. It starts now.
Oh boy. Cardinal fans for life right there.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. About a half hour, they are done. Crashed. Out.
You hope.
That's right. Yeah, if your dad holding that little cutie, you're saying, please go to sleep. And the 1-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. Foul ball. We'd love to see some power here. Extra base hit. Tommy does not have one in his last 68 plate appearances. And the 1-2 pitch now to the Cardinals center fielder. Missed on the inside corner.
It's a good take right there. That's the key to hitting, is taking tough pitches, and that was one of them right there. Very easily look fastball, get it, swing at it no matter what.
And that's driven in the gap in right center. Diving catch, and what a play. And what a night it has been for Margot. That's your Budweiser play of the game, and what a play.
Pretty nice play, but what's more impressive than that little highlight was watch how quick he gets going right here. The ground that he covers. It's a nice play in a short amount of time.
Here's Martinez. Oh, 2.
good changeup that we talk about with righties don't ever see from righties. You're starting to see it a little bit more. Pitchers are starting to throw the same side changeups, and it's normally you're just looking fastball, slider, fastball, breaking ball when you got righty-righty matchup. Now they're starting to throw the changeup.
And the 0-2, and he got him. Strikeout of Jose Martinez. Here's StatCast and the catch by Margot to Rob Tommy Pham. 66 feet covered.
How about the speed? 27 miles an hour.
Ozuna 2 for 3. Got the Cardinals on the board with a 2-run shot into center field. And it's a ball and a strike. Here it is. The 2-run homer back in the 6th inning after a single from Jose Martinez. Better get over the wall. It was quite the reaction, huh? Jimmy, you would have thought he put it in the upper deck there.
I expected it to go further. But this is a big ballpark. Sometimes the ball doesn't fly as far as you think it is. Little cool breeze up there.
And it's 1-2. A moth may have flown in the catcher's mask. They're back. And the 1-2 pitch. Ozuna puts it in play to short. Galvis to Hosmer. 4-2 our scores. We head to the 9th inning here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals trailing 4-2. And it'll be Rafael Lopez. Then a pinch hitter, Perella and Jankowski. This is our final meeting. The Padres and the Cardinals barring postseason play. Here's the 0-1. 0-2. Cardinals will have Molina, Jerko, and Munoz coming up, and Brad Hand, closer for the Padres, getting loose. 0-2 pitch, struck him out. Good work so far by Brebbia.
Doing a really nice job.
All Sundays, and that means this weekend, starting 2 hours prior to every home game. There's games, prizes, and free North Star ice cream treats while supplies last in the Ford Plaza, presented by Prairie Farms. Jose Perella with 1 out and nobody on. And there's strike 1. Molina over with room and makes the catch. And there's 2 away. There's Travis Jankowski with 2 outs and nobody on. Strike 1. Just pumping strikes. Good slider, good movement. It's 17 pitches now for Brebbia. 15 have been strikes. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Even on the 3 pitches that he's missed on, he's been right around the plate.
You just jinxed him. Made him throw another ball.
And the 1-2. Slider, he froze him. A strikeout for Brebbia. 4-2 our score as we move to the bottom of the 9th here in St. Louis. hand. The lefty for the San Diego Padres. Give you a little profile on the lefty. Where's number 52? 6'3", 228 pounds. And drafted by the Marlins originally, All-Star a year ago. Last year at 21 saves, very good ERA. And this our Chevy call to the pen. He's converted 14 consecutive save opportunities, 20 of 22 on the year. Molina, Jerko, and Munoz. And a ball. We're in the bottom of the ninth. 4-2 our score. The 1-1 pitch. A breaking ball against a righty. Starts way out of the zone and then drops in for the strike.
That's some kind of breaking ball right there.
Big gap in left center and the 1-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. 2-2. Oh, it hit him. It did hit him. So now the tying run will come to the plate. And it's Jed Jerko, probably the last batter that the Padres want to see.
You always talk about getting a start, right? Well, sometimes you need to get a start this way, even though it's a little painful. Just got to get guys on base. Maybe catch a break.
Remember, Matt Carpenter is on the bench. Greg Garcia, Francisco Pena. And a strike to Jerko. Munoz on deck.
Might be the first pitch all night he's called a strike off the plate. He's been super tight with the zone all night.
Now, Molina was at second base and maybe represented the tying run. You'd see a pinch runner, but not in this case. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And it is 0-2. Matt Carpenter with a bat in his hands. If you pinch hits, more than likely you're talking about, if you get to Brevia's spot, maybe Colton Wong. Lefty-lefty matchup could be very tough on both of them. And the 0-2 pitch to Jed Jerko. Jerko is hitless in 3 plate appearances against this closer of the Padres. Reminder, our next telecast Friday 6:30. Cubs will be here. Outfield deep, and they are straight away. Two and two. The 2-2. 3 and 2. Would he dare try a fastball to Jed Jerko in this spot? It's gone from 0-2 to a full count. Munoz on deck. He's been a hero before. Hit to Hosmer. He'll step on the bag, and that'll be 2. A double play ball hit off the end of the bat. He broke his bat, and Hosmer, the right decision, knowing who's running, to step on the bag.
Pretty nice play by Hosmer. Take a look at it right here. A little panic for a second, and then just got to get it over there.
Final hope is Jairo Munoz. And the 1-0 pitch to Jairo Munoz. Ground ball, and this should do it. The Padres will come in, and they take 2 of 3 against St. Louis. 4-2 the final. Very disappointing series against San Diego. Final of 4-2, and the Padres come in on the road here at Busch Stadium and take 2 of 3. Coming up, the post-game show, Missouri Lottery Cardinals live. 4-2 our final here from Busch.